Disney has made a lot of questionable business decisions over the years, like that time they built a town in Florida in an attempt to create the perfect community, and it ended up being a haven for old people to have sex with each other's wives while fake snow fell outside. But the one that keeps us up at night is the decision to call Disneyland the happiest place on earth and not serve alcohol there, despite literally maintaining a park-wide liquor license at a park where you can't get liquor. On that note, as it turns out, you can buy alcohol in Disneyland, it's just that the bar is hidden and it costs an insane amount of money just for the right to enter. Named for the physical address at which it resides in Disneyland, 33 Royal Street in the New Orleans Square section of the park, near where the Pirates of the Caribbean ride gets out, Club 33 was originally conceived by Walt Disney as a place to entertain Disney investors and VIPs. The idea supposedly came to Walt while visiting the New York World's Fair in 1964 and noting the existence and popularity of exclusive VIP lounges and bars. After some discussion with various entities, Walt, who wasn't keen on the idea of alcohol being consumed in his park, floated the idea of building a hidden lounge inside of a new area of the park that was then being constructed. This was an idea the executives loved, because who wouldn't enjoy the idea of slamming shots with fellow wealthy people from an official Mickey Mouse shot glass, all while laughing at the plebeians having to pay to spend a day without alcohol. In a move that would make John Hammond proud, Walt spared absolutely no expense during construction, even going as far as to hire legendary illustrator and production designer Dorothea Holt Redmond, generally remembered for her work with Alfred Hitchcock on Gone with the Wind and Ten Commandments. Among other work on Disneyland and Disney World concerning the club, Disney had her come up with detailed and elaborate designs of what the best possible version of the club would look like, and then use that as a template. What she drew up was the design for the trophy room and the Napoleon-style ultra-upscale dining area. As for the rest of Club 33, it comprises an additional dining area, and various connected areas included balconies overlooking the New Orleans portion of the park. When it came time to decorate, Walt and his wife physically traveled to New Orleans with a Hollywood set designer to pick out fancy, exorbitantly priced antiques. As an example of the kind of insane levels of perfectionism Walt insisted upon, up until the club was renovated in 2014, guests were taken to the second floor by an antique French elevator. The elevator was an exact replica of one Disney encountered during a trip to Paris with his wife, and he became enamored with the novelty of it. Disney attempted to buy the elevator in Paris to place in the club, but when the owner refused to sell, he instead sent a team of Disney engineers to Paris to study the original so they could replicate it and be as accurate as possible. The club is also, as you'd expect, decorated with Disney memorabilia, including rare artwork and sketches from Disney films. Perhaps the oddest feature of the club, and one that Walt insisted upon personally, is a large animatronic vulture in the club's trophy room. It was Walt's original intention for small microphones to be installed in the light fixtures that would allow the vulture to listen and then converse with guests via an operator monitoring everything. The novelty evidently wore off, or perhaps people just didn't like their conversations being listened to by some creepy dude sitting in a room by himself, and the wiring was removed a few years after the club opened. The vulture is still there today, however, maintaining an eternal silent vigil over the club, waiting for the chance to listen to everyone's personal conversations again. As for how you physically get into the club, this involves pressing a hidden buzzer in the mysterious door marked 33 in New Orleans Square. After proving your membership and registration, the door is unlocked and you're whisked inside the lobby and then taken to the dining and bar area, originally via the aforementioned lift or a staircase in the Court of Angels. However, following extensive renovations in 2014, it was found that the elevator did not meet modern codes. It's not clear if this has been updated or if guests are simply required to use the stairs now, which would be a bit of an accessibility issue if so. Whatever the case, sadly, Walt's insistence on perfection meant that the club, despite being conceived as early as 1964, wasn't completed until May of 1967, 5 months after he passed away. Shortly before Club 33 opened, Disney paradoxically sent out brochures advertising their new secret, super exclusive lounge to individuals they felt might want to become members who didn't necessarily warrant automatic membership like sponsors or Disney executives. Even today, the number of total members of Club 33 is a closely guarded secret, though most estimates say that it's around 500, with a further 800 said to be on a waiting list. To highlight how ridiculously exclusive this club is, the average waiting time for membership is said to be around 14 years. The cost of membership, as with most things, has steadily risen over the years, with most sources reporting today that it's about $25,000 for individuals and $45,000 for businesses, and then after that an additional $12,000 in fees every single year. Speaking of membership, though, Disney did offer both gold and silver membership options in the past, both of which offered entrance to the club but limited the number of guests members could bring with them. Amongst other things, they have since stopped this for various reasons that aren't clear, and now they only offer platinum membership to individuals. The only other option for membership, aptly known as business membership, is offered exclusively to businesses. Functionally identical in practice to a platinum membership, business membership has the added benefit of being able to be used by many employees of the owning corporation, making them useful for impressing clients or, we presume, arranging team-building exercises in Disneyland. Before they're even allowed to become a member, though, individuals and businesses must submit themselves to an invasive and rigorous background check to ensure that they're Club 33 material. As for who exactly the members of this very exclusive club are, well, only Disney knows. However, for whatever it's worth, supposedly Tom Hanks, Jack Nicholson, Guillermo del Toro, Christina Aguilera, and Elton John are a few of the celebrities that maintain a membership. So outside of entrance to the club facilities, what exactly do people get for paying insane amounts of money and jumping through all of the hoops? Well, not much. In fact, despite the huge annual fee, you still have to pay for any food and alcohol once inside, with one anonymous member noting a typical meal in there was about $150 a head. He also states that the quality of food isn't worth it. The food was worth the price 5+ years ago. Now, in my opinion, it's overpriced. It's fancy and creative food, but there are better places to eat in the area. I always tell people to go for the experience, not the food. He also notes it's best to make a reservation many weeks in advance if you want to make sure that you can get a table on a given day. So going back to specific benefits, Disney does not publish such a list publicly, and members on the whole seem reluctant to even mention they are members for fear of having their membership revoked. That said, it would appear from accounts from the few willing to talk about it, beyond of course being able to get in at all, membership includes the ability to ride inside the Lily Bell train car when it's in use and visit the wheelhouse of the Mark Twain Mississippi riverboat, though in both cases only if you book well in advance. Members also periodically get invited to preview new rides as well as tour behind the scenes. Members are also apparently granted access to the much more exclusive Club 1901 in California Adventure. As for what this is, Club 1901 is described by Disney Imagineer Ray Spencer as follows. Imagine it's the 1930s, and this is where the animators would have hung out, swapped stories, doodled on napkins. This is the place Walt and the animators might have chatted, relaxed, unwound, a cozy den. Unlike Club 33, Club 1901 is exclusive to the members and their spouses or domestic partners and limited guests that they bring with them, whereas Club 33 allows you to give away a small number of passes to those that you know without you needing to be there at all. That said, we did find one report in 2015 that claimed Disney was looking to cease giving out these VIP passes that allow non-members to come without the members themselves coming too, but we could not confirm this. Supposedly, the trade-off here was that Disney was revoking this ability, but then adding the perk of being able to get into the park for free instead of having to pay like lesser humans. Unsurprisingly, this change didn't sit well with members, particularly as they used to be able to get inside the park for free if they purchased a meal at the club on a given day, but then Disney took away that perk too. One of the features of a membership is that members have access to a Disney concierge. This is a person who can help you to arrange anything while you're at the park within bounds of the rules of the facility. Members also get fast-track tickets to bypass lines and receive complimentary valet parking whenever they visit. They can also usually expect to receive an upgrade when staying in a Disney hotel or traveling via one of their cruise lines. Also, if you're wondering, it would appear membership to the original Club 33 in Disneyland does not give members access to alternate Club 33s in Tokyo Disneyland, Shanghai Disneyland, and the newly built Club 33 in Disney World that just opened last year. In the end, for most people, the value of the membership doesn't so much lie in the perks it grants, but rather the mystique and air of exclusivity surrounding the membership itself, with many using it to impress business associates and friends, as well as to artificially inflate their sense of self-importance to try and fill that empty void inside themselves, which is, of course, pretty much the ultimate goal of pretty much everyone in that general section of California. Plus, we're guessing it's kind of fun to ride Space Mountain after about 7 beers. And now for some bonus facts. As Walt Disney laid on his deathbed suffering from lung cancer in 1966, the story goes, later confirmed by Kurt Russell, that he scribbled on a piece of paper the name Kurt Russell. Many have speculated what this could have meant, including the famous actor himself, Kurt Russell, who in a 2007 appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live said, "It's true, I don't know what to make of that. I was taken into his office one time after he died. and I was shown that. Russell was a child actor at the time for Disney, having just signed a 10-year contract with the studio. However, Jim Korkis of MousePlanet.com argues that Kurt Russell was not the last thing written by Disney, merely one of the last things he wrote, and states that no one actually knows what the very last thing was, despite what Russell himself says and was told. The very paper with Russell's name on it supposedly still lies in Disney's office desk, along with many other papers that Disney had written on, hence why there is some contention over whether Kurt Russell was really the last thing, or merely something he wrote, then intended to come back to later. And now for another bonus fact. The man who served as the voice of Walt Disney's iconic Mickey Mouse for over 30 years, Wayne Allwine, was married to the woman who voiced Minnie Mouse, Russi Taylor, for 33 years, up until her death in July of 2019. Incidentally, Taylor also voiced Martin Prince, Sherry and Terry, and German foreign exchange student Uta in The Simpsons. He was also the voices of Huey, Dewey and Louie in DuckTales. In any event, the two were married for nearly 2 decades until Wayne Allwine passed away in 2009 due to complications from diabetes. A Southern California native, Allwine first joined Disney in 1966 as a clerk in the mailroom. He later moved to work in the sound production department before landing the gig of Mickey Mouse's voice, the third person to do so. Walt Disney was the first voice, but his smoking habit damaged his vocal cords and he eventually stepped away from voice acting. Sound effects guru and Allwine's mentor, British voice actor Jimmy McDonald, was the second person to voice Mickey. Allwine got the job thanks to an open voice audition after another actor failed to show up. He claimed he simply did his best to conjure up Mickey's voice from memory. Seems to have worked. Russi, also known as Rosslyn, simply auditioned for the role in 1986 and got it. Details of how exactly the Allwines met are unknown, though one can assume they met on the job, as 5 years after Russi started to work as Minnie, the two wed. Russi stated of this, "Everyone thought it was sweet that we were together, though we kept it quiet for a while. We kept hearing how cute it was that Mickey and Minnie married. Yet we didn't want it to be about the characters, it was about Wayne and Russi." So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below and don't forget to subscribe. Also, while you're subscribing, or if you're subscribed already and you haven't done it, hit that notification bell because then you find out when we actually put out a new video. If you want to see more from me, I've got another channel called Highlight History where it's sort of a today in history thing. If you like this video, you probably like that as well. Subscribe to it through the link below. And as always, thank you for watching.